Hello everybody and welcome to class. Today is day 4. And to start the day, I want you guys to go into Canvas, open up your modules and click on day 4 and you will see the overview for the entire day. So this is the stuff that we plan to cover for the day. We're going to start by reviewing our coordinate inputs that we learned yesterday. And then we're going to learn a few new input methods that'll make life a little bit easier when you're drawing in AutoCAD. So, let's review what we went over yesterday as far as relative, polar, and absolute coordinates. All right, and I have a good example of this. So here was the practice worksheet that we did together in class. Each shape is exactly the same size, but we have different methods of plotting the points of each corner. So at the top, we have the absolute input. So we have a start point at 2, 2. And then you'll notice that our coordinates changed based on how far we go up and down or left and right. So from 2, 2, we go up 2.5, which means our y value needs to increase 2.5. So our new coordinate at this corner is 2, 4.5. Then we go to the right in the x value. We add that x value to our previous x to get 2 plus 2.75, which is 4.75, comma, our y value stays the same, right? So you're only adding what's changing to each one, but they do add together as you go around the shape in a clockwise manner. With relative inputs, you can see down below, if we type them into AutoCAD, we need to remember to add the @ symbol first. So, our start point was 2, 2. With relative, it's always from where you start to where you're going, just that single step. So they are not additive. So this 2, 2, that's what you'll type in AutoCAD to start your drawing, and I'll do an example on the right-hand side of my screen. So, first thing I want to do is click on the line command in the top left corner. And in my command prompt, it asks me to specify my first point. So we're starting at 2, 2. And then it needs to know where I want to go from here to draw my first line. I'm going to draw this in a clockwise pattern. So I need to go up, and if I look at the dimension on the left, it says 2.5. So our y value needs to change in a positive 2.5. So with a relative input, you would type in the @ symbol, the change in x, which was 0, and the change in y, which is 2.5. So I'll type that in, @ 0, 2.5. And hopefully that drew a line straight, 2.5 long. Then you could type in the next change. So we go to the right in the x value, 2.75. So I would type in @ 2.75 in the x, 0 in the y. So relative is acting like the point you were at was 0, 0, and the change is what you actually type in. You could use either one of those methods, absolute or relative, to draw this entire shape. Right? If I wanted to, I could type the coordinate here, and I'll do that just for an example. I'll type in 4.75, 3.25. It should draw a line that looks like the one I had there, right? So you can switch these up and use the different method depending on what the drawing needs. And the very final value we have here, or input method, is polar. So polar, it lets you type a distance at an angle. So we add in the less than symbol. For AutoCAD, that'll be the angle input method. And then the distance, which is just your dimension on the drawing, less than 0 degrees is straight to the right, 90 is straight up, 180 is straight to the left, and 270 is straight down. So to draw this line to the right, I'm right here. I'll type in @ my distance, which is 1, and if I want to draw to the right, that'll be 0 degrees. So @ 1, less than 0. So those are the three methods: absolute, relative, and polar. Hopefully everyone understands those. Are there any questions on that section? Anything you want me to demonstrate one more time? If not, let's keep going. A few new things we're going to learn today, right? To add on to our knowledge, to increase our experience in AutoCAD, we need to learn about object snaps. So that's what this OSnap command is. And the first object snap that we're going to learn is the endpoint snap. So let's say on this drawing, if I hit escape or I'm not connected to that point, well, if I don't have my snaps on, unless I know what that coordinate is, I can't reconnect to that point. But if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, right next to that right angle box, there is a square with an orange square in the top left corner. And if you hover it, it'll actually say Object Snap. So if I click on that, you'll see it highlights. And then if I hit the drop-down arrow right next to it, you can see a list of different snaps. So the snap we're going to learn today is the endpoint snap. What that does, simply, is it lets you snap back to the endpoint of any line you've drawn. So if I have a check mark next to it, that means it's on. Then I'll click on my line command, and if I hover a line, you can see there is a green square that pops up. Those are your snaps. So these quickly allow you to snap right back to drawing. One input method that'll make your life way easier is ortho mode. So what ortho mode does, and that's what this right angle was I was talking about, if I click on it, you can see my lines are restricted to drawing at 90-degree angles. So no matter what, my lines will be drawn square. If I turn ortho mode off, I can draw at any angle in between those. Right? If I click, it draws a line. But with ortho mode on, I can only draw at 90 degrees. Also, if I want to draw the next line on this shape, right here, it looks like it goes up 1.25. With ortho mode, I drag my cursor the direction I want to draw. So if I want to draw up, I'll drag it straight up. And all I have to do is type that distance, 1.25. And it automatically draws that line at 90 degrees. So it's polar, but faster, basically. So that is direct distance. It's what I personally use every single day. It is one of the fastest input methods for square shapes. All right, let's talk about the erase command next. So if I draw a few lines, and oh man, I didn't want to draw those. That was an accident. How do I get rid of them, right? Well, there is a tool. If you look at the ribbon up top, in the top right-hand corner, there is a pencil with an eraser on it. That is the erase command. So if I click on erase, always look at your command prompts. So what does it ask you? It says to select your objects. What do you want to get rid of? So if I go through and I click a line, you see a red X pops up when I hover it. If I click that, it gets grayed out, right? And I can select everything I want to erase at one time. And when I have everything I want to erase selected, all I have to do is press Enter, and they get erased. Now, what happens if you accidentally erase everything? Oh no, all that work, where'd it go? Helpful tool here that's not listed is the undo command. So if you look at the very top of AutoCAD, there's a backwards pointing arrow. That's the undo command. The shortcut on your keyboard is Control-Z for this. So I'll hit Control-Z, and it backs up that command input one step. And I can do that again to get those lines I erased back as well. You can also redo it. So you didn't want those back, undo your undo, right? So the very final step, and when you get this assignment for today done, is to save and upload your files. So if I want to save this, notice up top in AutoCAD there are two floppy disks. You guys probably don't know what those are, but that is the standard save icon in most applications. So if I click on that, you can also just type the word save. You'll get this save drawing as box pop up. Now, what we'll have to do here is go into your documents, and we will create a file specifically for this class. And then make sure to save your drawing as the same name of the assignment. So, if we look at the assignment for the day, it is the coordinate drawing. So, we've learned a few different methods of inputting so far. I'll zoom in on this. You can use any one of those to complete this shape. And one thing you might notice is that there is no start point on the drawing. So start anywhere in AutoCAD, you can pick a point. If you're going to use absolute inputs, you should probably start at 0, 0. Alright? Otherwise, you should be good to go. Make sure you turn that in by the end of the day today. It is due tonight at 11:59. That is it for the day. If you have any questions, please let me know. And then if you need any individual help, please raise your hand.